What if your voice, silenced by oppression, became the sound that called an entire civilization to prayer? What if the hands that once bore the chains of slavery were the very hands that laid the foundation stone of a global tradition? This is the story of a man whose spirit could not be broken, whose faith echoed through the ages. This is the story of Bilal ibn Rabah. Our story begins not in a grand palace or a revered temple, but under the scorching sun of Mecca, in the heart of pre-Islamic Arabia. Here, society was built on a rigid hierarchy of tribe and status. And at the very bottom was Bilal, a man of Abyssinian descent, born into slavery. His skin was dark, his status was non-existent, and his days were filled with endless, grueling labor under his master, Umayyah ibn Khalid, a powerful chieftain of Mecca. Bilal's life was a monotonous cycle of servitude. He had no rights, no freedom, no voice. But within him was a heart that yearned for something more, a soul that searched for a truth beyond the idols of stone and wood his masters worshipped. And then, a new message began to whisper through the alleyways of Mecca. A message of one God, a message of equality, justice, and human dignity. It was the message of Islam, brought by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. This message was a revolution. It declared that a person's worth wasn't in their lineage, wealth, or skin color, but in their piety and character. For someone like Bilal, this wasn't just a new religion. It was the dawn of liberation. He heard this call and his heart recognized its truth. Secretly, he embraced Islam, finding in it the freedom his soul had always craved. But in Mecca, this new faith was a dangerous secret to keep. When Bilal's master, Umayyah, discovered his conversion, his fury was boundless. How dare his slave, his property, choose a path of his own? How dare he defy the traditions of his ancestors and follow this new prophet? Umayyah was determined to crush Bilal's spirit, to make an example of him. And so began a period of unimaginable torture. Each day, at the peak of the midday heat, Umayyah would drag Bilal to the desert on the outskirts of Mecca. He would strip him, lay him bare on the burning sand, and place a massive, scorching hot boulder on his chest. The weight was crushing. The heat seared his skin. The pain was excruciating, designed to break his body and his will. As Bilal lay there, gasping for breath, his master would taunt him. "Will you not renounce this Muhammad and his God? Will you not go back to worshipping our idols, Allot and Alusa?" Umayyah and his cronies would laugh, certain that the pain would force him to recant. They offered him a simple way out, just one word of denial, and the torture would stop. But from Bilal's parched lips, through the agony and the struggle for air, came a single unwavering reply. "Ahad in Ahad. He is one. He is one." Over and over, his voice, though weak, was filled with a conviction that the boulder on his chest could not crush. Ahadan. Ahadan. It was a declaration of faith, a cry of defiance. A testament to a belief that was stronger than any physical torment. His body was captive, but his soul was soaring free. This continued day after day. The desert sun bore witness to this incredible display of faith. Bilal's steadfastness became a legend, whispered among the early Muslims, a source of both heartbreak and immense inspiration. They saw in his suffering the price of their new faith, and in his resilience, the power of true belief. News of Bilal's plight reached the Prophet Muhammad's closest companion, Abu Bakr, a wealthy merchant known for his kindness and wisdom. Abu Bakr was deeply moved by Bilal's unwavering faith. He could not stand by and watch this noble soul be tortured. He went to Umayyah and offered to buy Bilal. Umayyah, seeing a chance for profit, and perhaps believing Bilal was close to death anyway, agreed to the sale. The moment the transaction was complete, Abu Bakr removed the boulder from Bilal's chest and declared him a free man. That moment was a turning point, not just for Bilal, but for the entire early Muslim community. It was a powerful demonstration of Islam's core values, that a person's life is sacred, and that brotherhood in faith transcends all social barriers. The former slave was now a free man and a brother. Bilal's journey was far from over. He migrated with the Prophet and the other Muslims to the city of Medina, where they established the first Islamic community. Here, a new challenge arose. The community needed a way to call everyone to the 5 daily prayers. Various ideas were suggested. A bell, like the Christians, a horn like the Jews. But the Prophet was looking for something more profound, something uniquely suited to their faith. Then, one of the companions had a dream, a vision in which he was taught the beautiful, resonant words of the Adhan, the Islamic call to prayer. The Prophet confirmed that this dream was from God. Now, the question was, who would be given the honor of delivering this sacred call? Who had the voice and the character worthy of this duty? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, looked at his companions. He didn't choose someone from a powerful tribe or a wealthy family. He turned to the man who had once been voiceless, the man whose declaration of Ahad and Ahad had echoed from beneath a rock in the desert of Mecca. He turned to Bilal. He said, "O Bilal, go and teach these words to the people, for you have the most beautiful voice among us." Imagine that moment. The man who was once tortured for his faith was now being honored with the most public and sacred duty. His voice, once suppressed, was now chosen to be the very voice that would call the entire city to worship. Bilal climbed to the roof of the mosque. He took a deep breath, and for the first time, the powerful, melodious words of the Adhan rang out across Medina. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is the greatest, God is the greatest. His voice, rich and clear, carried over the homes and markets. It was a voice filled with the memory of suffering, the joy of freedom, and the depth of unshakable faith. When the people of Medina heard it, they stopped what they were doing and rushed towards the mosque. It was a sound that stirred the soul. The former slave from Abyssinia had become the muezzin of the Prophet, the first official caller to prayer in Islam. For the rest of his life, Bilal remained the Prophet's personal. His call to prayer became the rhythm of daily life in Medina. But the most emotionally charged moment was yet to come. After the Prophet Muhammad passed away, the community was engulfed in grief. Bilal was heartbroken. He would climb to his usual spot to call the Adhan. But when he reached the line, "I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of God," his voice would break, choked with tears. He couldn't finish it. The memory was too raw, the loss too profound, unable to bear calling the prayer in a city no longer graced by the Prophet's presence. Bilal left Medina. He settled in Syria, living a quiet life. Years passed. The Islamic community expanded, but the people of Medina never forgot the voice of Bilal. They missed the call to prayer that had defined an era. One day, the Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab was visiting Syria, and the people pleaded with him to ask Bilal to call the Adhan. Bilal, now an old man, was hesitant. The memories were still painful. But he couldn't refuse the request of the Caliph and the longing of the people. He stood up and began the call. Ya Akbar, Ya Akbar, as his voice, older now but still powerful, echoed through the land. A wave of emotion washed over everyone who heard it. People began to weep. Men and women, young and old, came out of their homes, their faces wet with tears. It was said that the city had not seen such a day of collective weeping since the day the Prophet himself had passed away. Bilal's voice transported them back in time, to the blessed days they had shared with their beloved Prophet. When he reached the name Muhammad, he once again broke down, unable to continue, and the entire gathering wept with him. Bilal's story is not just a tale of one man's journey from slavery to freedom. It's a powerful testament to the transformative power of faith. It's a story about resilience in the face of brutal oppression, and the radical idea that true nobility lies not in lineage or wealth, but in piety and devotion. Bilal's voice became a symbol of Islam's universal message of equality and justice, a message that shattered the chains of prejudice. His legacy reminds us that even in our darkest moments, when we feel crushed by the weight of the world, a single, unwavering belief in something greater can give us the strength to endure. It teaches us that our past does not define our future, and that the most marginalized voices can rise to become the most powerful and inspirational. The call of Bilal, that beautiful Adhan, is still heard today from countless minarets across the globe. 5 times a day, a constant reminder of one man's incredible faith in the timeless message he proclaimed. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the past. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. For more stories that inspire and enlighten, what lessons do you draw from Bilal's life? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time.